Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, just a reminder of the dua. Subhanakallahumma. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalimatihi. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalimatihi. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalimatihi. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen wa Imam al-Muttaqeen, Qa'id al-Ghur al-Muhajjaleen, Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa tabi'een. Allahumma ya Rabbana allimna ma yanfa'una wa anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilma. اللهم يا ربنا اجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل فينا ولا بيننا ولا منا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم يا ربنا لا حول ولا قوة لنا إلا بك. لك الحمد حتى ترضى ولك الحمد إذا رضيت ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. لك الحمد على حمدنا إياك. لك الحمد كما ينبغي للجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. So inshallah today the surah is Surah Al-Shamsi wa Duhaha. Surah Al-Shamsi wa Duhaha, first of all, is the only one surah that has got the highest number of oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 11 times. 11 times. The surah consists of 15 ayah, and it has 11 oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a Makki surah that was revealed in Mecca, and there's no difference of opinion about that. The surah, subhanallah, when every time we talk about the surah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started it with an oath, what really comes to our mind, okay, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala making the oath for, right? That's what concerns us. So here there are 11 oaths for one thing. What is that? And in fact, subhanAllah, when you know that, it just tells you exactly how, subhanAllah, we always tend to consume our time in things that are irrelevant, wallahi, for the most part. And we leave the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has insisted the most, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted that to happen. So let's go one by one with those very quick, inshallah, and then we can cover them into more details. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and let's count them, okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made an oath by Ash-Shams. Wash-Shams. Shams is the sun, right? Wa-Duhaha. Every time there's a waw, it means this is an oath, right? So Wash-Shamsi wa-Duhaha. Duhaha means it's light. Okay. Wal-Qamari idha talaha. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an oath by the moon as it follows the sun. So this is one oath here. Wal-Qamari idha talaha. Wal-Nahari idha jallaha. And Allah made an oath by the daytime when it makes it clear for everyone, and that is because of the light there. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا. And Allah made an oath by the night when it covers with darkness. Okay? So how many do we have so far? 5. Okay. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا. These are 2 here. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا. Allah makes an oath by the sky. And Banaha is the one who constructed it. But the ma before Banaha could be either interpreted as the one who created that, who did that, or it could be to talk about the root of the construction. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's as if Allah is saying, I swear by the sky and the one who created it or constructed it, or I swear by the sky and its construction. You see the point? Okay, so those are the two interpretations of this ma. In Arabic, we call the first one ma al-mawsula. Ma al-mawsula. And the second one, we call it ma al-masdariya. So when it is mawsula, it means the one who created it or constructed it. When it is masdariya, it means and the construction of it and the creation of that. And both of them are tafasir that were said by our scholars. Okay, so did we do 7 now? وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا طَحَاهَا. So now we have 9, right? So وَالْأَرْضِ is the earth, and طَحَاهَا means to straighten it and made it like flat for people to live at. Taha is also to stretch something for like and make it tall or wide. So that's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا طَحَاهَا, and by the earth and the one who made it flat and stretched for what could be a better word? Expanded? Yes, expand. Jazakallah khair. For people to live at. Okay, so what is next? Well,
is this ma the same like the ma before, where it can be?
Yes, exactly. This ma is the same, either the one who expanded it and the expansion of it. Yeah. And then وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. So those are 11, right? And here's the most important part. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. Anyone knows what nafs means? The soul of the human. وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. Sawaha means the one who proportioned it. Yes. So either by the soul and its proportion, or by the soul and he who has proportioned it. It's the ruh, in fact. It is the ruh. Now, subhanallah, Allah then says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. We didn't say that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inspired the nafs with either what would be a wickedness or righteousness. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Fujur is wickedness, and taqwa is righteousness. And subhanallah, the pronoun here in both words, ha, fujuraha, taqwaha, it refers to a relative wickedness and relative righteousness in people. So in other words, that subhanallah, not all the people have the same level of righteousness, and not everyone would have the same level of wickedness. So this ha refers to the nafs itself. Okay, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, which means that every human that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created with a soul in that human, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the knowledge and the ability to differentiate between what is haqq and what is batil, what is good and what is evil. Anyone can remind me with or remind us with an ayah very similar to this in another surah? هَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ in Surah Al-Balad. Yeah, Surah Al-Balad. هَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ, that we have guided them, the human, to two paths. The path of khair and the path of shar. The path of haqq and the path of batil. Now this is, subhanAllah, an important thing, because many people say, well, Allah has created me this way. I'm a person who is just reacting to Allah's creation. Allah created me to love women, to go and love money. Allah has created me to be a thief. Allah has created me to be of two faces. Allah created me to be a liar. But it's Allah's creation. And we say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in various different places in the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasized that a lot, that no one could ever have this as a justification. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as much as Allah has given you the ability to do the shar, Allah also gave you the ability to do the khair. And Allah also guided you. So, when someone asks, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes us accountable for our act, what are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, so that Allah will not become unjust when Allah punishes us for not doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants? What are they? What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that really give us no excuse to say, well, I'm not going to be righteous in this life? What is it? Huh? Allah gave us guidance. This is one, of course. But let's say a person, I mean, just hypothetically, a person has a mental problem. You tell him, you recite Quran, you tell him, you try to convince him, but he has mental issues. So would that be in the hellfire because he did not pray? Okay, so there's something else then. Not only guidance and aql and the ability to make decision, of course, which is actually irada. It's called irada. So irada, and the brother said al-aql, which means to have intellect or to have sound mind. And then, is that all? Huh? Understanding is this ability to make decisions, of course. But okay, so let's say that I have the ability to make decisions, I have sound mind and intellect, and I also received hidayah. But subhanallah, Allah created me to be only going into the shar path. Could that happen? So what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us in addition? Fitra. Yeah, we talked about hidayah. Fitra is the other aspect here. And fitra means, as Allah, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة أو ما من مولود إلا ويولد على الفطرة فأبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. That no baby, no person will accept that they will be delivered with fitra. And fitra, as ulama explain it, is that natural tendency to do good and stay away from evil. That is why they always talk about children as innocent. That is the fitra. This innocency is the fitra. We call it bara'a. That they would never do something evil. Especially at the early age. The time that they start to do something evil is actually when they have influence from the community, or influence from the parents, or influence from the devices that they are using, or from trauma that they have gone through, whatever it is. But at the beginning, they are all innocent. They have nothing in their mind except to do something good. Subhanallah. Yes, of course, it's relative. Sometimes the same kids, you apply it, the same test, and you would see that some of them are better than others. Yes, that's true. There are people, there are kids who perhaps, subhanAllah, from their early age are super generous, while others might be a little bit reluctant to be generous. I'm not saying stingy, I'm saying reluctant to be generous. But subhanAllah, fitra, with that good tendency, with that innocency, is actually the common factor between all newly born babies. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us fitra. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the ability to make decision. So we're not being enforced. No one is enforcing us to go this way or that way. And then the last one, Allah has given us the intellect or the sound mind. With those four, if a person chooses to go the wrong way, then there's punishment. If any of these is missing, Allah forgives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not take people accountable. Do you see the point? So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this here. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inspired this soul of every human to what is good and what is bad, so they can differentiate. That is why, subhanAllah, everyone who does a mistake, they try to shy, or they shy and they try to hide, I'm sorry, right? It's very common. But if a person does it frequently, that shyness disappears or diminishes. So much so the person would be willing to do whatever. I have heard from multiple teachers, like they call them the daycare teachers, and they were non-Muslim. We were in some discussion, and they said that, subhanAllah, at the very early age, 2 years old, 3 years old, those kids, if they go to the bathroom, they don't let anyone look at them. But their parents would convince them, it's okay, it's your body. And so much so that over like a couple of months, they become ready to just expose their awrah to others. Of course, they don't call it awrah themselves, but they were talking about this, subhanAllah, this feeling that they need to hide them. They need to hide their private area. But over time, with the practice, people make it disappear. Similarly, subhanAllah, when a person is in a state of fear, naturally speaking, what happens? When someone is in a big state of fear, what happens? Huh? Try to hide? No, let's say that someone is being cornered, or someone now is in the airplane and it is, astaghfirullah, it's burning. What happens? They would scream, but they would yell for what? They do yell for God. Even those atheists, they do yell for God. But if they train themselves to call something else, then perhaps that will not happen to their mouth. But subhanAllah, naturally speaking, even if a person never was taught about Islam or any religion, they would just ask for God. And in fact, they would be facing the heaven or the sky. Because subhanAllah, naturally, the one who is above us is the one who has superiority on us. So that is, subhanAllah, that is the fitrah. I have gone through this, by the way. I was in the plane one day, and the pilot said that there is a chance that we might be doing an emergency landing. And people cried, "Oh, Mom!" Oh. And then as the airplane was going in like shaking, and going up and down, then you hear people saying, God, God. That was it, subhanAllah. But then after we landed, everyone is back to normal, back to their business. Anyone tried this? Anyone has been in this? What did you feel, Yasin?
Mine was a very different issue. So I was flying from one city to
Uh.
the toilet seat just came out of the plane, so there was a lot of air pressure that comes out, and it was going like a nosedive.
Ya Latif.
Anyway, so they were able to came back to the same city where we took off. It was a very weird feeling.
Mm.
Everybody was really sad.
Mm.
And I was in Pakistan at that time, so everybody
Yeah.
was
So-
Kalama and Shahada and everything.
Subhanallah. So they were Muslims for the most part. Yeah. So yeah, subhanallah. That's what we're talking about. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Allah gave us fitrah. Allah gave us guidance through the prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the ability to make decision and not being enforced. And then the last one is? Intellect, exactly. The ability to think and make rationale. By the way, about this, the ability to make decision, this is very important to remember this ayah. إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَ وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. Allah talks about those who might be forced to say something that is unlawful or impermissible. Allah said, إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَ. For those who have been enforced to say something wrong, they are forgiven, with the condition that their heart is full of iman, right? And that is actually very, very important these days, that many of us make excuses not to say the right word, or even to say something wrong. And they say, they use this ayah, but they forget the second portion of it, وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. You know that what is really missing is that in your spare time, when you are by yourself, what is it that you do? Or what is it that you say? I mean, many of us these days, and forgive me for being blunt here, I meet with many teenagers who go to public school. And I ask them, what kind of behavior you're doing? Like, for example, they change their names. They don't pray. They don't pray in the school. And they avoid anything that shows they are different. For example, sometimes when they offer pizza, the good ones, they will say, oh, I'm full. Those are the good ones. But then others, they will eat. Perhaps they will try to remove the pepperoni on the side, but they will do. And I asked many of them, so what is it that make you do this? They said, we want to fit. We just want to fit. Okay, so is that a big thing? They say, of course. We just cannot see ourselves as weird people. We have to be cool and just like anyone else. Okay, let's assume that this is ikrah. But when you are mukrah, you probably want to hide things that you're doing otherwise. But it doesn't mean that you leave it completely. Wallahi, I still know one lady asked me, she said, Sheikh, I became Muslim. She was Hindu. She said, I became Muslim, and if my parents know about my religion, they would harm me. So she was asking, what should I do about my prayer? And I said, what can you do? What have you been doing? You know what she said? She said, Wallah, I go to the bathroom. I do it in the bathroom. Is that permissible? To that extent, at the bathroom, because this is the only place where their parents will not be coming to open the door, suddenly. So if there's ikrah, it is still permissible to pray in the bathroom, but please pray. Don't miss it. And that actually is the part that many people miss. That, okay, if I'm being enforced on something, then let it go. No, don't let it go. Just for that for that reason, whatever can help you to save yourself, but then otherwise you have to be doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do. Okay. Now, all of these oaths, 11 oaths, yarhamkallah, are for one sentence. What is it? فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. It's verily the one who has worked on their soul righteousness are the one who will succeed. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. And the one who will fail, who will not do this, or who will let their soul go the other direction, then those are the one who will fail big time. So the word khaba means failed, but khasira is also failed. Anyone knows the difference between khasira and khaba? Okay, let me give you that in sentences. خسر التاجر ماله, which means the merchant has lost their money. وخاب المنافق بمسعاه, and the hypocrite has failed in their path, or in what they wanted to do. So what is the difference? Khaba is total loss, that's one, but there's some nuance here. Khaba usually comes with mission. Someone has mission and then they lost it. That's khaba. Whereas khasira is some materialistic thing. You lost your business, you lost your money, you lost your car, those kind of things. And there's also another nuance there. Khaba comes with disappointment. You probably may lose, for example, some money, but mashallah, you are a billionaire, it doesn't really hurt you. But khaba comes with disappointment. So that's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Those who do not work on purifying and making tazkiyah to their souls, to their hearts, are going to have khayba. They will regret that, and they will lose everything, but they will regret that big time. And their whole mission, their whole dream, everything that they were planning will go to waste. So these two ayat, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, are the ones that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made all the 11 oaths about. What does that tell us? Exactly. This is why Allah created us. Let me ask questions. Perhaps it's not questions, but just in the form of questions. People say, I have to pray, I have to go to the masjid, I have to do righteous good deeds. But wallahi, to many Muslims, these are becoming more of rituals, just movements. They're nothing but movements. And I tell you the evidence of this. Allah said, Inna salata tanha anil fahsha wal munkar. Right? That verily salah forbids us and prevents us from doing fahisha, and munkar, anything that is wrong. When when some people, when Rasulullah SAW presented Islam to some people, they said, Ya Rasulullah, Salah is very, is dear to us, but zakat is very difficult for us. So can we just accept Islam without zakat? He ﷺ said, إِذَا صَلُّوا زَكُّوا. Or as he said ﷺ, that if they start praying, then they will naturally, organically, will be able to do the zakat. Because that's what salat is. It is to purify this. So when you see people doing their salah, and salah is not preventing them from backbiting, not preventing them from slandering, not preventing them from saying evil things, plotting, conspiracy, all of this, what does salah mean to them? What is the value of salah in their hearts? What is it? When people come to the masjid and all what they have in mind is something else other than purifying the soul, then what does salah do for them? What is the value of salah when there is no change in the person after the salah is done? You know, our salaf, our pious predecessors, the way that they really had salat very special for them is not because how they prayed. Because we had people with difference of opinion. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala has prayed slightly different than Imam al-Shafi'i. But the thing in common is what? Is that this prayer has made their souls the best. So people usually fight. He prayed, he raised his hand, he put Raf' al-Yadayn, and he didn't do it. And he made the dua, he shouldn't be doing it. He made Salat al-Witr this way or that way. And they fight, and they start doing all the mess, and division in the Muslim community. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted them to come to the prayer so that they purify their heart. When subhanAllah, nothing in this salah except that it tells you how to behave yourself. You are going onto ruku' and sujood together with everyone else. That's unity. When subhanAllah, you stand neck to neck, shoulder to shoulder, and you align your heels, that is alignment so that you are united. When you say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, you truly asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you to the righteous path of whom? Sirat al-ladhina an'amta alayhim. If that is really in your heart when you pray, would you ever make a backbiting after salah? Would you ever try to slander people after salah? Would you ever curse people? SubhanAllah, we totally lost the essence of our deen, of our religion, of our practice of the prayer, of our practice of almost everything. It became like rituals. Allah said in the Quran, in Surah Al-Hadid, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. Isn't it about time that the believers should have khushu', should have tranquility, should have association with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the haqq that has been revealed. But then listen to what Allah said. وَلَا يَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ كفروا من قبل فطال عليهم ولا يكونوا كالذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبل فطال عليهم الأمد فقست قلوبهم. And that they do not act like the people of the book before them who have received the truth, but then throughout the time their hearts became solid. And that's exactly what we're talking about. That people, alhamdulillah, they come for prayer, they come to the masjid, they do some other righteous good deed, alhamdulillah. But over time, this salah and whatever they are doing has converted, or has it changed from being something that pulled them towards Allah into something that just make them stay away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what we are seeing nowadays. Unfortunately, subhanAllah, it's the same warning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned people about. You know, this ayah was a reason for people to make a whole change in their life and repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a person by the name of Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad. Fudayl ibn Iyad was a thief, was a robber. And he was very known of his proficiency in this. And he had his own team, or his, like a group of people or isaba. So people would be always scared, and they would mention his name. So one day, he came in the night, and there are more than one statement about how he repented, but this one is very common. That he went into a house of a person to steal money. The person who was in that house was praying Qiyam al-Layl, and he was reciting this very ayah. أَلَمْ يَأْنِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. And he was repeating that over and over and over. And you know, subhanAllah, some of our pious predecessors used to recite the same ayah for the entire night, because the purpose of that was to ponder and to change themselves, and they really convert those meanings into actions. So he heard him praying with it, crying with it. So he started to just hear it again and again, and then he said, while he was stealing, he said, Bala qad an. Yes, indeed, it is the time. And that was the turn factor that changed his whole entire life. And Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad is known to be Imam al-Haramain. He then became the Imam of both Mecca and Medina. Rahimahullah. So this is really the essence. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Don't tell me about what car you drive. Don't tell me about what house you live at. Don't tell me what position you have. Don't tell me how many people give you like. Don't tell me about the social media that you're acting with. Don't tell me about how many people show you respect and give you respect because of your status. Because what really matters is this soul. Have you purified it? Have you made tazkiyah to it? Or just let it go, and that you have been just focusing on the superficial things? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. The last portion is about Thamud. Thamud were Arabs, by the way. They were Arabs. And their Rasul, or their messenger, was Salih. The ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Salih is that he told them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring you naqa, which is the she camel. This naqa did not come from another naqa. It was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the rocks, from the mountain. And this naqa had a very, subhanAllah, special delivery that she will drink water on one day, and the next day everyone in the whole city would drink from the milk of it. So one day she would drink for her own, and the next day everyone will milk it. Saleh told them, this is the ayah, the sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, leave it alone. By the way, the people of Thamud, they were Muslims, they were believers. They believed in their messenger. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested them with this ayah. So, anyone knows the name of the person who wanted to kill that? Slaughter that camel? SubhanAllah, it just slipped from my mind. His name is? Anyone can look it up. I think his name is Qu'ad. Sorry for that. Qudar ibn Salif. His name was Qudar ibn Salif. Qudar ibn Salif was a person who was of high status in his tribe. Qudar ibn Salif was a person who people listened to. He was a person who was very influential. Like when he says something, everyone would listen. Qudar ibn Salif said, I want to slaughter this camel. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِذٍ بَعَثَ أَشْقَاهَا. Ashqaha means the most wicked person. فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها. Their messenger, Salih alayhi salatu wasalam, said, ناقة الله وسقياها. Leave the naqa, the she camel of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and leave its drinking. فكذبوه فعقروها. So they rejected that and they slaughtered it. فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them, Allah didn't leave any one of them. Allah flattened them. ولا يخاف عقباها. And Allah never regret the consequences of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the decision or makes something, Allah knows what it is. So here is one thing. A person in this life may have the ability, may have the power, may have the strength, may have the popularity, may have the supporters. And he or she can do various different things that are evil. The fact that you see that people are following you, the fact that you see that people are not resisting your evilness, does not mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is supporting you or is accepting that from you. What was, and this is a very tricky thing, please, Allah yazikum khair, just think about it very carefully. What made the Pharaoh, what made the Pharaoh to stick to his evilness? Allah mentioned that in the Quran. What made the Pharaoh stick to his evilness even though in his rationale he knows he's not doing well? He said, أَلَيْسَ لِي مُلْكُ مَصْرٍ وَهَذِهِ الْأَنْهَارُ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِي. Don't I own Egypt and all those rivers are flowing under me? That was his reasoning. And subhanAllah, most of the human are like that. When they see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has enabled them, they have big followers on the social media. They probably have a position where they can do anything. Probably they have a lot of money that they can use their money in whatever thing they like. But the fact that you have that does not mean that your acts are accurate or that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will leave you alone. So that subhanAllah, this ayah or these ayat just tell us, don't be fooled by how people are giving you smiles. Don't be fooled. Because when this person killed the camel, he was by himself. But because of his slandering, because of his evil plotting, he managed to get people and they slaughtered the naqa. One person, one wicked person in the community is good enough is strong enough to ruin the whole community. And not only that, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish the whole people because they did not stop him. This is very important. I always say this and people come and say, are you pointing your finger to us? Akhi, if you know yourself you're doing something wrong, stop it. I'm not pointing finger to anyone. I'm just saying something for all of us. The person who, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, the person who does the munkar of backbiting, of slandering, plotting, and people are rejecting him, Allah will be merciful with them. But the minute the community will give their ears to those, the whole community will be in the punishment of Allah. That's exactly what happened to Thamud. They were believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that, and we'll let me finish here inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَأَمَّا ثَمُودُ فَهَدَيْنَاهُمْ. But when it comes to Thamud, we have already guided them. فَاسْتَحَبُّوا الْعَمَى عَلَى الْهُدَى. But they have prioritized, or they have preferred ama, blindness. But this is not a blindness of the sight, of their sight. It's a blindness of their hearts. فَاسْتَحَبُّوا الْعَمَى عَلَى الْهُدَى. They preferred blindness over guidance. And this is exactly when we give our ears to the people who are doing haram. Wallahi, brothers, wallahi, wallahi, it's enough to have one person to ruin the whole community, if the community is giving that person their ears. So it is our responsibility to always forbid evil. That's why Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he talked to Aisha radiallahu anha, one day he was very concerned, and she said, Ya Rasulullah, what is going on? He said, وَيْلٌ لِلْعَرَبِ مِنْ شَرٍ قَدْ اقْتَرَبَ. He said that woe to Arabs from an evilness that is closely approaching them. She said, Ya Rasulullah, أَوَنَهْلِكُ وَفِينَا الصَّالِحُونَ. She said, Ya Rasulullah, would we be punished even though we have many righteous people with us? He said, نَعَمْ إِذَا كَثُرَ الْخَبَثِ. He said, yes, if this evilness is spread and people are not stopping it. So being righteous does not help. You have to be righteous and you have to be acting upon it. That's why in Arabic we say salih and muslih. Salih and muslih. Salih is the one who is righteous on himself, with himself. But muslih is the one who acts upon that. And he wants to change things into the better. That's the difference. That's why وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ لِيُهْلِكَ الْقُرَى بِظُلْمٍ وَأَهْلُهَا مُصْلِحُونَ. Yeah, muslih. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never punish people, will never punish communities while there are people who are doing islah. Muslih. Not only righteous by themselves, but they are actually acting upon that and spreading that islah and forbidding evil. Allah yahfadhkum ya Rab. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. So let's recite the surah. I'll recite it first, you recite after me, and then we'll recite it together one time, inshallah. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. Let's recite it together inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. May Allah make us among those who have followed the prophets and not among those who were guided but they have preferred to be misguided and to be blind. Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullah khair. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. وإياك